Welcome back. It's been a while since I read some good old-fashioned Vampire Jenny. In this particular one, I decided not to have the quote or what number it was on the published video, but that's because I was really proud of the drawing that I did that comes up later with the redoing of the Hellfire logo. I drew it in character, and I think it's great. Also, sorry about the long hiatus. Brain decided not to read this. Also, it is published in full on my Quotab if you want to read along. And, I think that's it. It's published under a different name than Vampire Jenny, but you'll see the, redesigned Hellfire logo on that one, so that's why I'm plugging it here. Anyways, into the story. The group gathered around Jenny's kitchen counter, eating breakfast as they discussed the strategies Jenny had proposed. Jenny drifted around, clarifying any questions anyone had. Nancy asked her if it was really okay that they were all in her house like this, and her response was a very tired, "My parents told me 8 months ago that they thought I was self-sufficient enough just to not come home except for Thanksgiving. It's the first week of April. We don't have to worry about Jim and Janet coming back anytime soon." Most of the people in the room looked at her with various amounts of alarm at her statement. She was still a minor after all. "I thought they only came home for 4th of July, Eddie asked, with more curiosity than abhorrent. "They came home sporadically up until that point, most of the time on minor holidays, but I never knew what to expect. They just showed up for a week at a time at random, since I was 10. Why they thought a 10-year-old would suddenly know how to take care of herself spontaneously will forever evade me. I can't remember the last time they were home for my birthday. Point is, they aren't coming back until November," Jenny stated before swinging around the banister and upstairs to avoid further discussion of the topic. "That settles it. We're throwing her a birthday party," Robin stated when she thought Jenny was out of earshot. "Do you even know when her birthday is, Robin?" Dustin asked sarcastically. He knew the answer was no. Jenny didn't talk about her birthday. The only reason that he knew was because he had grabbed her driver's license for her a few times. "Well, we could just celebrate now," she retorted, sticking her tongue out at Dustin. "It's the 16th of October. My mom drove her to get her driver's license," Lucas commented. He was sitting on the counter eating Cocoa Puffs right out of the box. "I can hear all of you. I know for a fact that you pestered your mom relentlessly to get that information, Laundry Basket. Stop asking like you didn't have to volunteer to do chores to find out my birthday," Jenny called from upstairs, scampering downstairs, holding her overfilled notebook and a sheet of paper hidden behind it. "Did it never occur to you that I have enhanced hearing?" she asked, hopping onto the counter. "Can I ever keep a secret from you?" Lucas groaned, making Erica giggle mischievously. "Not anymore. Also, I mentioned to Eddie earlier that I made a redesign for the Hellfire logo. Check it out. I tried to keep elements from the original without seeming like it was a cult," she stated, showing them the drawing she'd made. It depicted a flaming Demobat skull with the horns being run through with a sword. The whole thing was perched on top of the tentacles that surrounded the gates most of the time, and there was an X drawn over the place where the bat's eyes would be if it had them. The tagline said, "Get in, loser. We're going monster hunting." "Bitchin'," Jane commented, impressed. She didn't really get it, but she liked that they were killing monsters from the Upside Down in it. "When did you look at one of the demo bats for long enough to get a feel for the anatomy of its skull?" Dustin asked, analyzing the drawing. "I think it was when they were ripping me to shreds as I was dying, or when I turned into one," Jenny tried to joke. "The problem is that if we used it as a design, we'd have to explain the Upside Down," Eddie remarked, inspecting it. "No, we don't. The explanation is simple. Homebrew monster. I thought it looked metal, redid the design so we look less like a cult. I made a monster manual entry for the bats at like 4 this morning. I can get you the stats. The hard part is pretending it's not traumatic, but you get good at that pretty quickly. Most of the people in this room have encountered a Demogorgon before outside a campaign. It'd be faster to list who hasn't. Jason, you, Erica, Robin. It's a big group, and you learn to cope for the sake of fantasy escapism or functioning in normal society," Jenny remarked. "Everyone who lives with me besides Argyle has also fought the Demogorgon. There are a few adults that aren't Steve, Nancy, and Robin involved." Will commented, leaving Eddie and Jason floored that all this was happening to such a large group and no one figured it out. Jenny, when did you get fingerless gloves? It doesn't seem like something you'd wear, Dustin asked, glancing at her fidgeting hands. You don't realize how long 8 hours is until you don't have to sleep through the night. I made them myself a few nights ago out of boredom because I don't feel like wearing a sweater, but my arms get cold. You know, normal undead from the upside down things. I have free will, so I despise being cold because it makes me vulnerable. But my body doesn't like heat either, as experiments I've done with a fireplace have demonstrated. I have found 3 things that can stop me if I go on a rampage: rapid blood loss, roses for some reason, and fire. I haven't tried the wooden stake thing or beheading yet, but I feel like both of those apply to rapid blood loss. Jenny informed them, not thinking about the implications of searching for her weaknesses herself. Jenny, you ran experiments of things you knew were vampire weaknesses on yourself. Just because it's not with a blade doesn't mean it's not self-harm. It is. You're hurting yourself and acting like we won't notice, Steve said definitively. Not the worst thing I've done this week. I know it's bad, but I need to know how to make myself stop. Who else here am I going to test on? Almond? Almond's a squirrel that believes I'm God. Almond has more weaknesses than I do, too. That won't get us anywhere. If something happens and I go berserk, the only one who would be willing to bite the bullet and put a stake in my heart is Hopper and maybe Jason, because you're also emotionally attached to me that you won't do what needs to be done. I'm doomed to be a lab rat like this. If I don't end up dead, I'll never be able to function normally. If I can help it, I won't make it past 30. I thought I'd finally get to die in that last battle. The only thing I regretted was not saying goodbye. I'm not going to apologize for making sure you don't have to waste your time and energy or you have a plan for my inevitable rampage you're all too empathetic to try to stop. The reason I've been so touchy since I got back is because I hate everything about this. There is nothing I can do to make up for all the harm my death caused besides there's nothing I can do to make up for all the harm my death caused besides beheading Vecna myself, so that's what I'm going to do. Jenny ranted, tears streaming down her face. She dug her fingers into her forearms as she spoke, sharpened claws leaving pockmarks in her skin. Stupid. You knew Steve would pick up on it. You just had to say something, and now they're all staring. She escaped to her room and locked the door in an attempt to shut them out. Downstairs, a conversation was afoot. I did not realize that section was that long. I honestly expected I was going to pad it out by adding another line, but I think we're good there. So now for ending tags. I wish you all a good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever time it is for you. Have a good time. Peace.